नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Love and discipline are so opposite in nature. A discipline is simply not required when there is love. Have you noticed? You don't have to discipline yourself to do something which you love. Where there is interest, there is no need of a discipline. There is no need of a rule. There is no need of a law. Lovers know no rules. Rules belong to the head, and heart knows no laws. But you cannot discard the discipline. You cannot discard the law. A discipline is required. Don't think just conflicts alone create chaos. Love creates confusion and chaos. Even in order to maintain love, you need certain discipline. So Narada says, you have to preserve. You have to preserve the laws. You have to maintain the discipline. Same with food and other day-to-day matters. Lokopi tavadeva bhojanadi vyapara istva sharira dharanavadi. Even in your day-to-day activities, it's good to have some discipline. Discipline is required where it doesn't interest you. In a state of ecstatic love, nothing interests you. People who are in love, they don't care when they eat, when they sleep, what they do. So don't ignore that. Sometimes you love some work and you keep working and you don't eat properly. And you continue doing like that. The body has only certain amount of elasticity. After that you collapse. Don't do anything too much. There is a saying, Ati sarvatra varjyet. Anything in extreme should be dropped. Even if it is meditation, even if it is love, even if it is talking. You know, when you love somebody, you overpower them, you suffocate them, you talk too much, you nauseate them, and they won't run away from you. Have some discipline, have some restraint. That's the way to preserve love. Otherwise, even love turns sour. Why do so many love marriages break up so fast? 6 months to 1 year, people break their vows, their marriages, their relationships. Not those who had lukewarm love, those who had intense love. It's they who are in trouble. Because they express everything too much. They don't observe certain discipline. They don't get centered back onto themselves. Your focus is always on the other. Even in worldly matters, day-to-day matters, like eating food, exercising, walking, doing things, follow certain rules, certain disciplines. You may not like it, but still do it. For that will uphold you. A discipline is stifling the freedom. And it appears that way, but I tell you, it's a discipline which gives you freedom too. It's so difficult for a child to brush its teeth every day. The mother is on the back. Did you brush your teeth? Morning and night. And that discipline brings the freedom of toothache, decayed tooth. See the other side of the discipline. It brings you freedom in the long run. And only freedom can elevate us to the divine love. Follow certain disciplines. Don't have to be rigid about it. Because you are beyond disciplines. Love takes you beyond the rules. But yet it's good to have certain rules. Police can violate the traffic rule. An ambulance can go the way they want to go. They can drive left, they can drive right when it's needed. They use it only when it is needed. They don't overtake every car that passes by. But they do when it is needed. Rules and disciplines are there to be broken sometime. But they should exist too. Only then can you break it. Tal-lakshanani vachyante nana matabhedat. Now Narada says, I'll enunciate the signs of love with various different opinions. Love knows no boundaries. It can accommodate all the opposite values in its lap. Intellect often does not appreciate difference of opinions, though they rise in the intellect. But heart can accommodate all different opinions. One who has a big heart can acknowledge other standpoints. They will not say, only I am correct. They'll say, this is one viewpoint, that is also another viewpoint. I am correct, you can also be correct. Someone says, now it is night, it's correct. Someone else says it is daytime now, say it's also correct, but somewhere else. Tal lakshanani vachante nana matapedat. With differences of opinion, many saints have come up with different signs or qualities for love. Narada first mentions all the other great seers and then puts his own opinion. This was the way of the sages. They would put the opinions of great men first and say, these are their opinions and this is my opinion along with this. Puja disho anuraga iti parasharya. Love to do puja is, according to Parashara, the sign of love. Now, what is puja? Puja is considered to be a ritual. That's what commonly understood and known. Puja means that which is born out of fullness. An action, an expression that comes out of fullness of heart is puja. Pu means fullness, ja means that which is born out of it. When there is so much love, when every particle of you is throbbing with love, that energy expresses itself in some action. That action is called puja. The nature loves you, and what does the nature do to you? The nature gives you fruits. It gives you grains. It showers water on you. It charms you with millions of flowers. It gives you fragrance. It feeds you. And it takes sun and moon around you. Gives you different type of lights. It gives you light of moon in the night and the bright sunlight when you need it in the daytime. This act of nature for you is puja. And the rishis invented a similar ritual, a small ritual, call it puja. You also imitate that whole thing to the divine. You say the divine, see, let my life always go around you and round you. This is called arati. Arati means the total ecstasy, the total joy, total pleasure is arati. This is a custom in India even today when any guest come or some honored person comes home or any wedding or ceremonies at home or in the temple, they light a lamp or camphor, they take it around, saying, let there be light all around you. This is puja. An expression of gratefulness is puja. An expression of immense gratitude is puja. Parashara says, the love to express that is a sign of divine love. When there is love, you don't say, oh, leave me alone, let me keep it to myself. When you are happy, you want to share that to everybody. When you love something, you take the telephone and dial everybody and you have to talk for a long time, express what you love. Otherwise, you can't sleep. It stifles you. This is a sort of puja. Expressing the fullness of your heart. Expressing the gratitude. That's worship. The nature worships you and you reciprocate it. For divine dwells in every particle of this creation. Pujadishu anuraga iti parasharya. Love to do acts similar to puja is a sign of love. Kathadishviti Garga. But Garga has a different opinion. Garga Rishi was of a different idea or opinion. Garga Rishi was of a different opinion. What he says is talking about it, telling stories is a sign of love. When you love somebody, you don't stop talking about them. You can't stop talking about them. And you tell the stories. You know what happened. You can find this with the grandparents. When they first become grandparents, the first grandchild is born in their family, they talk about the baby all the time. For them, that's a unique child. They have never seen anybody like that. I heard a grandparent saying, my grandson is just 4 months old. But he can watch the TV and figure out what's happening there. When Chicago Bulls were winning the match, he was raising his finger like that. What do that baby know? But they think that, very brilliant boy. You keep anything in front of him, he'll kick it. He knows soccer, seems to be a great soccer player. 4-month-old baby. Soccer player. But for parents, for grandparents, that's the joy. The father is a soccer fan and he wishes his son also does all that. But they can't stop talking about the child. They think, see, he looks at me. Whenever I have something, he knows. Baby knows, very special. I've never seen a child so special. Every mother feels the child is so special. Every grandparent, their child is out of this world. This is Katha. This is the sign of love. Another sign of divine love is praising. Talking about telling stories. Tell stories, see, people by hearing it, they feel elevated. Talk negative things, you can put down people. Even an enthusiastic person, tell them, see, this is hopeless, that is hopeless, that is hopeless, everything is hopeless, the world, no hope in the world. Yes. They come to you with some little hope and then they go back with feeling even hopeless. This is not the sign of good company. A good company is one with whom you go and whatever you talk, and when you go away from them, see, do you feel light? Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel inspired? Or you do feel more doubtful, droning, miserable, and walk away from them? Such company is a bad company. The sign of love is stories, rejoicing in the stories. Divine love manifests in so many ways in this planet. Hmm. Atmaratya virodheneti Shandilya. The Rishi Shandilya says, it's rejoicing in oneself without any conflict. Rejoicing in the self without any conflict. Sign of love. You know, when you begin to enjoy anything, suddenly some conflict arises in you. How many of you notice this? Many of you notice. You are happy, suddenly, oh, maybe I shouldn't be feeling this happy. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe, you know, the conflict comes and puts an end to your joy. Conflict, again I say, is the handwork of the intellect. Rejoicing is that of the heart. So when there is conflict between the intellect and the heart, you cannot rejoice without conflict. But it is deep meditation, it's the self dawning of the understanding who I am can put an end to this conflict of the intellect and the heart and the love. Sign of love is rejoicing without conflict. Reposing in oneself without conflict. Shandilya was another rishi who also spoke on divine love. But he was so chaotic. There is a colloquial expression in India. If someone just does whatever they want to say, they are doing this Shandilya technique. Means he's just hodgepodge, does anything, but he arrives at the good result. But because he has no conflict doing anything. Rejoicing without conflict. A work you do, a holiday you enjoy, or a service you are engaged in, or a conversation you do, all these can be done without conflict. And how? By relaxing into the self. But this may not work for everybody. So Narada says, but my opinion is, Naradastu tadarpita kilacharita tad vismarane parama vyakulateti. But my opinion is, he says, when conflicts rise, or when I do something good, offer everything to the divine. I would prefer that I offer all my good and bad deeds, everything at the feet of the divine. And whenever I am miserable, I simply have to remember because I have forgotten the divinity. It's when I forget that God loves me, I am miserable. In the worst of conditions, if I can just remember that the divine loves me, there is this divine unconditional love, my misery will not be there. Sorrow or misery means going away from self. For this being, self is all joyful. And you become utterly restless when you are away from that. This is another sign of love. Restlessness. When that presence is not available. Sign of love. Love and longing, they go together. How can you long for something which you don't love? And if there is no longing, there is no love at all. And for love to live longer, longing is essential. And longing needs a little distance, a gap. It has been like that in the lives of gopis. That's what Narada says. Yeah, the gopis, they could not forget him for a moment. And if his presence, forgetfulness of his presence brought so much restlessness in them. The restlessness or longing reminds them back of that pleasure, of that love. Love and longing, they go together. They have to be together. That's longing is Radha, love is Sham. They say Radhe Sham. What do you mean? The longing for the divine love. Radhe Govind. Govind is love. Radha is longing. Lack of this understanding, we try to get rid of the longing, and there is no proper solution or understanding, we become more and more and more miserable. When we become miserable, we start hating the people who are the cause for our misery. Bhakti Sutras will just lift them up from this mess. The ancient rishis made a rule in India that a particular month, the August month, the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law cannot be in the same house. So the daughter-in-laws are usually sent to the parents' house 1 month. She has to go and live away from the husband. That is the month, the maximum business for the postal services. That 1 month, because she stays away from her beloved, her husband, and there is a lot of letters. Those days there were no phone calls. So the longing would increase. The 1 month for a period kept aside for longing. There is a place for longing. Do not suffocate anybody. Give little space. Two feverish people get together, suffocate each other. They find that love is disappeared. They evaporated somewhere. Love is not in action. It is your very existence, your very being, your very nature. And longing is an integral part of it. Love can never be complete. You know why? Completion means boundaries. The end of it. Love can never find that because the longing keeps it. Longing keeps it infinity, endless. So it's incomplete. Rejoicing that incompleteness is what the gopis did. Astyevameva. It did happen like that. There is an example. The love of the gopis for Krishna. Yatha Vraja Gopikana, like the gopis of the Vrindavan. Krishna was just 15-year-old when he left Vrindavan. But that young boy had won the hearts of the entire community. They were all mesmerized by his presence, by his love, by his looks, by his glance. That is an example of love. Tadarpita kila charita tad vismarane paramavyakulateti. So whatever actions that has happened through you, offer them all. Relax. Akhilarth, all the actions. Don't have to take that as an excuse to do whatever you want to do. Like the gopis, they thought about Krishna. They experienced his presence. They were so intoxicated. It did happen that way. There is an example. Jai Jai Ram.
You all can close your eyes and just meditate. What Gurudev said, what you'll follow, what new you learned, how to rejoice without conflict. And slowly you can open your eyes and turn on your cameras. Okay, a very quick revision. Rules are of the head, heart knows no law. Love and discipline are opposite, seems like opposite. Love needs no discipline, because if you love something, you don't need to discipline yourself to do that, right? But still discipline is required to maintain the love, to preserve the love. If they love something, then they forget to eat and sleep and everything. They're just loving to work, then they keep working. No, discipline is required. Or if you're too focused on that person, if you express too much, then you suffocate the other. So have some discipline, some restraint that will uphold the love, that will uphold you. So discipline gives you freedom, and discipline rises you up to divine love. If you keep a little discipline in love, then it becomes divine love. So beautiful. Okay. Love knows no boundary. It can accommodate all opposites. One with a big heart. Then one of the rishis said that love is to do puja. Sign of love is you do puja. What is puja? Born out of fullness. All the expression, actions born out of fullness. When every atom of you is throbbing with love, at that time, whatever you express is puja. Immense gratitude is puja. Knowing that divine dwells in every particle is puja. Then another Rishi, Garg Rishi said, then when you tell stories, when you praise, you can't stop praising and telling stories. That is love, a sign of love. Then Gurudev spoke about good company, bad company. Good company is one that makes you feel light, happy, uplifted, etc. And if somebody does the exact opposite, that is bad company. Okay. Rejoice, then it comes very important. Today's topic, rejoicing with the self, in the self, without any conflicts. Whenever we are happy, some conflict arises. Like Bhanudi once said that I am driving in such an expensive car of a devotee, maybe, I don't know where, and there are people with no food. So, that happiness without the conflict, how will it happen? When we are dancing free and then we think, oh, should I dance? Should I not dance? So that how to rejoice in self without conflicts, only in deep meditation. Rejoicing is of the heart and conflict is of the head. And so only deep meditation can take you out. When you know who you are, then the intellect will stop bothering you. Will make you rejoice without conflict. Yes, deep rest. Then Gurudev spoke about Chandelier. Chandelier had no conflict. So whatever he does, all the chaos will end up in a good result because there is no conflict in it. Then Gurudev said holidays, service, enjoying something, eating, everything should be done without conflicts. But how? By relaxing in the self. If you are like, oh, I'm not a good person or I have done something wrong, you won't be able to rejoice without conflict. So I think this is what Narad said. Narad Muni ji said that offer everything to the feet of divine. Every action you took, every action or whatever happened through you, just surrender it to the divine, at the feet of the divine. Miserable. When are you miserable? When you forget that God loves you unconditionally. Misery is with when you remember that God loves you unconditionally, the misery will be there. Sorrow and misery, restlessness is the sign of going away from the self. So come back to the self. How? Meditation, Kriya, there are so many things. Seva, sadhana, satsang. Love and longing goes together. No longing means no love. No love means no longing. But longing needs distance. And Gurudev gave an example of Sham, Gopiyas and everything. When miserable, what happens when miserable? We start hating that person. The person we used to love, now we start hating because that same person who used to bring love now is bringing misery. So Bhakti Sutras will help those people lift themselves up from this mess. Love is your very nature and longing is an integral part of love. And longing will always never be complete. It will always, longing will always remain because it is endless. Huh? Rejoicing in this incompleteness. Wow, rejoicing in this incompleteness, rejoicing in the longing, like Mullah Nasruddin. Offer all action that happen through you and relax. Offer all that happened through you and relax. So Mullah Nasruddin lost his donkey and was in searching for the donkey, and then he put posters everywhere. On that poster, he said, reward 10,000 rupees plus the donkey also. So if you search the donkey and bring it to him, he will give you 10,000 rupees plus he will give you the donkey also. Somebody asked him, why are you doing that? This doesn't make sense. At least give the donkey. And he said, वो ढूंढने का मजा तो लेने दो. Let me enjoy the search. Let me enjoy the longing. So he was not interested in the donkey. He was enjoying the longing, that search. You all can turn on your cameras. If there are any questions, you can ask. Narayana Hari Om Satya Narayana Hari Om. No questions? Okay. Jai Gurudev. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Jai Gurudev.